Welcome to the #Attitudeshield podcast, the true mental operating script rewriting program designed for those looking for a change from within. No more hype or sugar-coated promises. This is to-the-point guidance on how to change the way we think to grab the life we always wanted. Are you ready for the change? Now your host, Davidlparker.
Hello and welcome to the next episode, the next training session, our next get-together wonderful chat about #Attitudeshield. It's your mind operating script rewrite program, because we both know, if you've been listening to the show, that if the one you are working on right now could take you to that level of success in your life, whatever that is that you're looking to be, it would have. And since it can't, we need to upgrade it. We need to upgrade often. We need to keep on continually upgrading till we get to the point where we're pretty much running on a good autopilot program, but we're being present in the present and we're paying attention to things. Now, last night, it's been raining here for a while in the Black Hills, so it started raining yesterday. Rained pretty good for a while, to tell you the truth. It really did. It really been raining. Anywho, yesterday I started thinking about things. I started thinking about, one of my closest inner circle friends' son has come to visit the Black Hills. Now, we're all hoping that he will stay and not return to the challenges that he's facing down there in Colorado. You know me, Colorado's an interesting place, to say the least. Anywho, Colorado's just going down a route, a direction that I don't want to go. So anywho, he's up here visiting his mother. And again, I hope we're staying. But I started thinking about character. I started thinking about #Attitudeshield says to respond, not to react. Now, to be able to respond, you have to have a strong character. And when you react, it's all emotion. So you can either be driven by your character, or you can be driven crazy by your emotions. Now, unfortunately for my very dear friend's son, he's had some interesting things happen. He's got a father who very manipulative. Let me tell you something. If you have children and you've been in a relationship that didn't work, and you bash the other parent, you need to take a checkup from the neck up. You have some serious head trash. Now, there are exceptions. I mean, if the person was abusive and beat you, and there's some things that truth should be told, not unfolded like a big long story. But anyway, if you're one of those people, you know this kind of person, they're so emotionally driven that everything is a competition with them parent-wise. You need to take a checkup from the neck up, because you might be dead in the head. Now, it's appeared and become pretty clear to me that successful people will do things that unsuccessful people will not do. I mean, that's not really a hidden nugget or a secret or anything. It's just the truth. If people are successful, and again, when I say success, you get to choose what that means. Multi-millionaire, billionaire, $50 an hour, $5 an hour. What does success mean to you? Mansion, cabin, trailer by the lake. What does it mean? Davidlparker doesn't get to tell you what success is. Nobody gets to tell you what success is. You have to tell you what you consider success. I've met plenty of people. Let me go this way. One person's dream is another person's nightmare. Your simplicity of your dream brings you success, right? Now, I think that, again, that successful people are always willing to do what other unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. I mean, that's a given, right? And I sort of observed that one of the things that really makes a difference between successful people, whether it's, relationship-wise, business-wise, whatever, is that it's being driven. It's literally broken down into whether it's character, your character tells you what to do or your emotions tell you what to do, right? I mean, it really boils down to that. For example, there's a very, very big difference here. Let's go to this one. If you are driven by your character, whom you are, you do right by other people. You do right by situations. You just do right, and then you feel good about it. That's because you're being driven by a great character, a great attitude shield. Your operating script is strong. If you're driven by your emotion, you're Mr. or Mrs. Reactive. You have to feel good, right, to do right. So one, you're doing it, and that gives you a response. And the other one, you want the reward before you do it. You see this a lot in teenagers. You see that a lot in today's 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds. It's all about how they feel. It's the big I'm offended thing because the world has decided to tell them that emotions are so important that you need to be able to express and share, and you need, which is true, you do. But it isn't the driving factor. Man didn't make it to the moon because they were emotional about it. They made it to the moon because they were driven. They were character driven. Their operating script was successful. It was great. It was very different. They were commitment driven. We got to the moon because people were commitment driven, which is being driven by character. But an emotional person is driven by convenience. I can always tell the difference when I'm interviewing somebody for a job. When they're telling me that the reason they left their last job was because of the distance they had to drive. And now if you drive an hour and a half and you don't want to drive an hour and a half, I salute you. But if you drive an extra 5 minutes, that's convenience driven. I can hear the driven by emotion person speaking to me. I can hear it. People that use their character, have a strong operating script, make principle-based, principle-foundational decisions. They run on principles. Emotion, whatever's the popular-based decision nowadays. That's whatever's popular, whatever everybody else thinks, whatever is cool, whatever is, the latest TikTok fad, whatever's whatever. YOLO, you only live life once. These are all emotional responses. If you're doing the show, if you're enjoying the show, please feel free to buy me a cup of coffee. There's a link in the description below to help support the show, help us grow the show worldwide, help us impact people. I find it ironic that I get a whole lot more people buying me a cup of coffee from outside of the United States. I guess here in the United States, operating scripts are all so much better. Don't get me wrong, I've had a couple here in America. It's just very interesting to me. And I appreciate all my European listeners. Thank you. My India and China and all those people over there is fantastic. My friends down in Australia, appreciate the fact you're plugging in. Hey, everybody, share this on your social media. Social media is the biggest, powerful platform we have right now. What if we could help get more people to be driven by their character, driven by their operating script versus emotionally reacting to everything? We could change the world together. We could literally change the world. We could stop turning it into a meme. Okay? Now let's get back to the difference here. This thing that I've been thinking about, pondering. If you're driven by your character, you're driven by your emotion. Emotional driven people are dangerous. They're dangerous because that means they're not thinking. If you're not thinking, you're reacting. If you're reacting, you're not thinking. See, this goes back and forth. And either one will get you in a world of bad places. Really bad places. I love when somebody says, well, he just has a really bad temper. Well, that just means you have really poor control of your emotions. You're letting an emotion drive you to violence, and everybody should be afraid. You should be afraid. We should be looking at people that are emotionally driven and go, what the freak is wrong with you? You non-thinking, dead from the neck up. What is wrong with you, person? Emotionally driven? It's like all these memes you've seen for years now off the American electoral system, where these people are screaming and crying because somebody got elected that they didn't want. Just to quote them, the never Trumpers. The people who are all about Biden stole the election. Are they responding? Are they reacting? Is their character, you letting them research and see if there is evidence of what they're saying? Or are they just emotionally driven? See, the news wants you emotionally driven. The news wants you emotionally driven, emotionally explosive. They want the volcano of emotions going all the time so they can manipulate us and get us to do things. And a person who just heard that and got pissed, that's an emotional response. Now, a person that relies on character versus emotion, let actions control attitude. Yep. They let their actions control their attitude. Emotion lets attitude control actions. What a bunch of bullshit. Well, I'm just not feeling like it today, so I'm not going to work. I don't feel like it today, so I'm going to be an asshole to everybody around me because that's just the way I feel. What? Thanks for not being anything that we need in society. People who are driven by their characters are leaders. They're out in front. They're making things happen. They're trying to change the world. They're not protesting and burning buildings down. That doesn't change nothing. Doesn't change a thing. Just makes insurance rates go up. Because you see the people doing that, they're followers. Followers, again, are dangerous. If you are behind or following a follower, you're both lost. We don't know where you're going. Because that's just the way it works. I'm not making anything up. People with emotion, the character that's strong, Hercules kind of strong, right? They're steady. They're pretty steady. They have little blips and little dips. I mean, life is a roller coaster. But these character-driven people, their dips, their highs and their lows they're pretty close together. While the emotional people, they're like one of the craziest roller coasters you ever saw. They got these highs that are so high up there and their lows that are so far down there that they're like a mile apart. It's crazy to watch them go through those ups and downs. Crazy. You ever talk to somebody on the phone that's telling you something and they can break down and start crying, and then 5 seconds later they're angry and screaming, happy, mad, sad, all in the same sentence? That's pretty normal. Emotional people quit. They quit. I'm done. Screw this when problems arise. Quit. People who work with a good operating script, a good character, continue to drive forward when problems arrive. Problems arise is part of the deal. People who have a good operating script understand that. People that are character driven understand that. People are emotionally responsive, reactive, they don't understand shit. Now, a person that is driven hard by their character will believe it, absolutely believe something, and then they see it. They believe it. They can see the unseen. They can have a dream of where they're going long before it shows up. They can manifest and drive and talk to themselves in the proper manner. We've talked about this. You're never, ever, ever going to talk to somebody more than you talk to yourself. Hell, 75,000 random thoughts a day? Who in the freak are you talking to more than that? So these character-driven, principle-based, operating script upgraded humans, they can believe it, then they see it. The opposite is true of the emotion. They got to see it, then they believe it. I don't believe it. I don't see it. I believe it takes more faith more rock solid fight to hold on to it faith to not believe in a God than it does to believe. You literally have to have massive amount of faith to believe all this is by chance. I think my favorite conversation I ever had was a person who absolutely believed there was no sign of God anywhere on the planet, but he also didn't believe in coincidence. And I'm like, what the hell did you just say? Anyway, character people, good, strong character people can see the dream. They can believe in the dream before they see it. Emotional driven people don't believe in nothing they can't see. It's just the way it goes. You know, I worried when I first started doing the broadcast on Periscope 5 years ago. That's why on the YouTube channel, #Attitudeshield, there are being posted all the time now, turn back time videos of when I was in the military, so I don't look anything like I look now. And I was building some networks and I was doing some things because I love network marketers. I love those people because 99% of them are some of the most positive people you ever met. Most of them are team members and leaders. They're very character driven, which is one of the reasons that there are so many people that are emotionally eruptive and driven, don't like network marketing. It's hard. Show me, prove it to me. Yes, I'm mocking emotionally driven people for two reasons. One, I think it's funny. I'm a people watcher. I can see it. You can go to a restaurant, you can see it. You can go to a bar, you can see it. You can go to the mall, you can go to the car dealership, you can see character driven by great operating scripts versus just emotional wrecks, just explosive, emotional. Well, you know, I just don't feel like that good today about that. Well, you mean you have like heartburn or stomach ache or your back hurts? No, my emotions just aren't into it. What are you talking about? People in the past, people that built these civilizations, people that have changed the world, Aristotle, Socrates, people that have really changed our planet, the founding fathers, these people were driven by their character, their principles, their morals. Whether you agree with them or not doesn't matter. They did something. It's like I was in a class in college, and they were discussing today's stuff, you know, social things today, and comparing it to people a couple hundred years ago and 1,000 years ago. And the question was posed, have we really come that far? Or were people back then just not, you know, whatever, sort of naive? And they split the class. So if they felt that people back then were doing the best they thought they could do, to stand on one side of the room, and people who thought they were terrible, bad human beings, just shitty, crappy people, stand on the other side of the room. And if you really were in the middle, believed both sides of the question, to stay in the middle. Well, I didn't move out of my chair. I stayed in the middle. Now, there was like 2 or 3 people on one side thinking they were the people that were doing the best they could for what they had. And then how about 40 people in the class, 40 emotional driven weirdos, if you will, were on the right-hand side of the class, and they were so upset. So upset. These people were such bad people. Well, the professor looked at the 2 groups and looked at me, and he goes, all right, Mr. Parker, care to explain to the rather weirdly, his words, separated class why you don't agree or with either end result? I said, because that's crazy to A, think that they were really great people that were doing the best they could. Makes sense to me. B, to think they were really bad people because you don't agree with the decision they made in this back time frame makes you just as crazy, because they're probably both. In other words, the people were doing the best they can with the knowledge and the understanding of the world they had at that time. And now today we look back at it and go, that don't make no damn sense. There are a lot of things that happened in the past of human beings that were driven by character, but today we can look at and say is really bad. And I says, you know what's funny? In 100 years, they're going to look at 2020 and 2021 like, what the freak were those meatballs thinking? It happens all the time. Do you understand? You can be character driven and still make some really weird decisions. But if you're emotionally driven, you stand about a 99% chance of your decisions just not being good, just bad, just making your life miserable. That's why you got to upgrade the operating script. You got to get out of being driven by your emotions. You ever said something when you were angry that you didn't mean when you were calm? Have you ever made a decision, I'm not doing this ever again, when you were pissed off, and a week later you're doing exactly that? Decisions made on emotions are terrible. They rarely, if ever, work. Decisions made on research, knowledge, and understanding of a worldview, driven by your character, are decisions that will last and impact your life in a manner that you will be astounded by. Never met anybody that was slipping into the next life who told me, man, I sure wish I'd have made better decisions. But I sure have heard them tell me, tell so-and-so I'm sorry for being such a jerk. Truth comes in the end. It's just the way it works, everybody. Hashtag Attitudeshield wants you to build a great character, be great information, be ready to go, enjoy your life, be super califragilistic, just be an amazing human being that is making decisions based on good principles, based on good research, knowledge, and understanding of the environment, understanding of the worldview, not emotional based. Emotions are not your friend. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure when the human race finally wipes itself out, it'll be based off some emotional bullcrap, because that's just the way we are. But hey, keep your shield up. Keep going forward. It's going to be all right. Sorry, this one was heavy, and I've been thinking about it hard, but it was time to get heavy with you. It was time to do some down-to-earth, punch-you-in-the-face training. Get your character straight.
You've been listening to Attitudeshield, your double dose of espresso for your attitude. Check us out on Facebook and on the web at www.attitudeshield.com. Again, thanks for spending this time with us. Between now and when we talk again, keep those shields up, eyes on the target, and always be moving towards your dreams.